Alright, hello again everybody. Welcome back to the Malbeefance channel. This is episode 5 of Strategic Command American Civil War series replay. If you've been following along, you know things are starting to heat up a little bit. It's really been a stalemate here in Northern Virginia. The Union forces were able to push down past Alexandria. They're north of Fredericksburg and Winchester. It's a very thin defensive line. Um, the Confederacy has not responded with the level of units that I had anticipated. So that makes me wonder, where are the rest of them? I am used to seeing an advance up through Western Virginia, but I haven't seen that yet. I've been able to secure the northern half of what will eventually become West Virginia. Now that I've defeated the rebel unit that miraculously popped up there. The chances of that unit popping up so early in the game, those were pretty astronomical in my opinion, but it happened, and so it wound up making things a little interesting. All right, so Missouri has been liberated by the Union, and we are fighting around Springfield and Carthage, and several of the Indian tribes have joined the Confederacy. I made a really big mistake here of having my garrison leave Fort Gibson to occupy Honey Springs, and they didn't have enough movement points to get back to Fort Gibson. So hopefully that won't come back to bite me. We'll see. So let me get the map back over here. I don't know why I like sitting it on this spot, but I do. So, all right, so let's advance a turn, see what we get. All right, so decision. Tribal chief of the Creek Nation. Like most people living in the Indian Territory, the loyalties of the Creek Nation are deeply split in this war. While the majority of the population has decided with the rebellion, there are several thousand warriors who remain loyal to the Union. It is up to you now to decide where they should assemble. One option would be to order the Loyalists to head north to Kansas under the leadership of Chief. I'm not even going to attempt that name. We'll just call him Chief Oppo for now, as they would be forced to fight their way north. We expect that this would reduce the number of warriors that make it to the other forces, your other forces, but once in Kansas, they would be able to more easily join the other armies. Alternatively, we could order our friendly chief to stay in Indian Territory and attempt to replace any pro-rebel leaders. This is a risky endeavor and would require 75 production points worth of arms to be sent to even the attempt. But if successful, it would ensure the full loyalty of the Creek population afterwards. So, shall we direct our friendly chief to remain in Indian Territory and attempt to bring the Creeks into the Union? All right, so basically what all this boils down to is, do I want to get a guaranteed free, well, it's not even guaranteed. There's a chance, if I go ahead and tell him no, tell him, hey, head for Kansas, this chief and his followers, they might not even make it, but I may get a Indian cavalry unit out of the deal, or I can spend the production points and have him attempt to bring the entire Creek Nation in on the Union side. I feel it's worth the dice roll. The thing is, though, as many times as I've played this game and played as the Union, I have yet to have this be successful. But hey, who knows? Maybe this time's the charm. So let's make the roll. Yes, I want him to stay and try to bring over the entire Creek Nation. Confederacy signs an alliance with the Chickasaw. Union vessels in the Hampton Road still blocking Norfolk. War Department reports progress in logistics development up to 86%. And there is our ledger for next turn. Computer is calculating supply for the upcoming Confederate turn. Okay, so the Indian cavalry outside of Fort Washita relocated. There's another that timberclad is back now at the mouth of the Mississippi River. And those riverboats tried to break the blockade. Now we got attacks in northern Virginia. The Confederate advance in New Mexico. Back to Virginia. Anything else? Nope. Now forces are pulling back. Oh, wait. There's that advance up into western Virginia I was anticipating. And also the advance on Cairo. Alright, so General Price was smart and pulled back from the front line. Looks like I'm going to have to get that timberclad out of the port at Cairo, getting someplace safer. Haiti is allowing Union warships to use the port of Cape Haitian. Now we move into the Union's next turn with the report of ships in the Hampton Roads blocking Norfolk. And calculating supply for the upcoming turn. Here's our military activity summary. Intelligence spots a brigade near Carrollton, Arkansas. Marine units are now available for production. And there are the Farragut Marines. Now I have to deploy them here by Norfolk, or excuse me, by New York. Put them on the rail line there. And here comes General Grant and his forces deploying here at Cairo. So there's his cavalry brigade, his HQ, and then I got 2 infantry cavalry. Alright, so now let's get the timberclad out of there. Reinforce the brigade that is actually in the city. Now, can we do anything up here at St. Geneva? Yes. Alright, so we're making things hotter for the brigade, the Confederate brigade in St. Geneva. That's good. Alright, so we've liberated Ozark, Missouri. Go ahead and try and reinforce these cavalry brigades. There's not a whole lot more I can do down here. And Price pulled back, and he pulled back the other brigade and the regiment that were here outside of Springfield. So I don't know if they're just falling back to Carrollton and Pea Ridge in order to defend, or if they're planning on doing something else. So we'll hit Carthage from behind. And also occupy the mine there, get that back. Alright, so that is pretty much going to do it for Missouri, except for bringing Halleck down. so that he can go ahead and he can start supporting these troops here. Alright, so out in the New Mexico, Arizona territories, I don't want to take a chance of advancing with these guys. I'm just going to have them here to defend Fort Thorne and Santa Barbara until they can get some more reinforcements. But we will go ahead and attempt to take out the Timberclad. So once again, we don't, we just do a lot of damage. We don't actually destroy the unit. And I'll swap these guys out so that he can resupply. Whoops. There we go. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Alright, so back over here to the Atlantic. The Wabash gets in position to block Charleston Harbor. Colorado finishes off the last known gunship that the Confederates have in the Atlantic. And Minnesota and Colorado are blocking supplies going into Wilmington. Go ahead and reforce my brigade down in Newport News outside of Fort Monroe. Alright, so I got a couple of good odds on 1 or 2 units, but I'm not in a position where I can follow up the attack. So I'm just going to keep these guys down here, and I know they're exposed. Sooner or later, Confederate divisions are going to come up, and they're just going to wail on him. Hopefully I'll have some divisions of my own by that time so that we wind up not losing any ground. Alright, so the train, the railroad guns didn't do any damage to this brigade, but they are hurting for supplies. So once again, I'm just going to defend here in Northern Virginia till I can get some more units down there. The Farragut Marine Division is not ready to move yet. They just deployed this turn. So now back over here to Western Virginia. Go ahead and reinforce these units. Hold my position. But I will send him back up. He's going to go up here and take Felipe. And I'll leave McClellan here to prevent that rebel unit from popping up again. Alright, now I just moved him, so he can't repair yet. And that is pretty much going to be it for movement this turn. Alright, once again, research. We haven't had any breakthroughs yet, but we are getting close. Industrial technology, logistics, even infantry equipment and field telegraph are within striking distance. So hopefully we'll pick up at least one of them next turn. So for purchases, I had mentioned that I really do need to get some more river ironclads into the mix. So let me go ahead and purchase a few of those. So that's got me 3 in the pipeline. How much do I have left? 607. Well, I want to be able to buy at least 2 core. Alright, so who's next on the list to get their own core in the game? The Toaster D Division. They're going to be loved for that name. And then another one of my prolific commenters. Judy Kim Wen. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, that last name right there, that is Vietnamese, and it is pronounced Wen. All right, so that brings us down to 7 production points left over. We'll bank those for what it's worth. And that is going to be it for this turn. All right, so we'll go ahead and advance and see what we get. All right, so Navajo warriors clash with the Fort Wingate garrison following a horse racing dispute. That is a historical event. There was some there were some complaints about cheating, and eventually it led to some more Indian wars, believe it or not. All right, so Colorado Volunteers form around Santa Fe. Those are my reinforcements for the New Mexico campaign. Union warships in Hampton Roads, blocking Norfolk. War Department reports field telegraph up to 97%. So close, so close. There we go. Industrial technology, 100%. Okay, so we got a breakthrough there. Industrial technology level 1. Ledger for next turn. All right, calculating supply for the Confederates. All right, so stronger reinforcements for Carthage. Get the cavalry out of there. Some moving around in northern Virginia. Clear weather, so I'm expecting there should be a lot of fighting going on in northern Virginia. I think this is like maybe the first or second turn where we've had clear weather. And there's the other column I was expecting. All right. So there's not as many units, not as many Confederate units deploying in northern Virginia as I'm used to seeing. And it makes me have the bad idea that I want to try and advance. Cherokee prepare for war. Confederates sign an alliance with the Cherokee Nation. Once again, the blockade of Norfolk. There is Union blockades. Unitarian forces win the Battle of Pavone, ending the Civil War in Argentina. Historical event there. If you get the Wars in America's DLC, you can play that stuff out on this game. So there is our military activity summary for the previous turn. And the ironclad unit is now available for production. So we got a timberclad reinforcement. Can I deploy him any closer than that? No, I can't. All right, so put him there in Cincinnati. And since they're starting us over here, let's go ahead and repair the Tyler River timberclad. And let's see what we can do to relieve some of the pressure on Cairo. Alright, I'll use the cavalry to threaten to outflank this small army. Alright, so General Halleck arrives for the siege of St. Genevieve. And it makes all the difference. Okay, maybe not, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Alright, so we were able to defeat that brigade. Now Halleck will be able to push down past Greenville. And we'll go ahead and see if we can't outflank these guys, surround them, and defeat them. However, the computer just may wind up pulling them out of there. Don't know. We'll see. Meanwhile, we can start advancing on Carrollton and Pea Ridge. If nothing else, I can put some pressure on General Price's army. Now, I want to check where the... okay, so I don't have to worry about rebels until I get down into Arkansas. Oh, that's right. So let's turn this advance into a bad idea by cutting him off in Carthage. Oop. Now, unfortunately, these guys are already low on supply, so I don't want them to go into this hex. So let me figure out what I want to do here. So I need him to stay there. Let's do this. And I'll just leave everybody else where they're at the moment. Alright, get him back into Fort Gibson. It really was a bad idea. But luckily it worked out in the end. Alright, so leave him there in Fort Washita. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to try and see if I can grab the Chickasaw capital. Alright, so that brings us to the Gulf of America. Alright, so now you see these are red, so there's supplies getting through there. Put him on raiding, so he's also interdicting. He's interdicting the supplies trying to come through, as well as occupying the hex here to stop the blockade runners. Alright, and they're good for the moment. I get enough gunboats down here, and I'll go after this fort. Alright, so that brings us out to the New Mexico territories. Hurry these guys down to Santa Barbara so that we have more forces down here. Alright, so I'm not going to move those guys. I'm going to leave them there to defend. I mean, yeah, I could probably take this regiment, bring them down here to help block, but then that just gives that cavalry unit an opportunity to sweep around him and get to Santa Barbara. So, not going to do that. Check supply on my Atlantic units. He's still good. Alright, so Colorado's down to 6, so let's have them go back to Cape Hatteras. Still going to leave these two guys here to block Norfolk. Alright, so I can move the Farragut Marines now. So give me a moment there. Let me look at the Virginia front line first. So now having the rail unit out here is starting to become dangerous. He's starting to get exposed. So there's really nothing else I want to do here. Just let these guys keep digging in. All right. Well, that Marine division, I'm going to need more than one to take out the defenses, the fort here at Norfolk. So until I can get more Marine divisions, let me go ahead and just have him come out here to help with the Northern Virginia defense. All right, so now we're back in West Virginia. And I'll just leave my blocking force where it is. Okay, so I started over here with General Grant's forces, so I do believe that is it. Yep, so that is it for movement and combat. All right, so moving on to research. So we had production technology make a breakthrough. I'm just going to reinvest there, keep it going. For those of you that don't know, advances in industrial technology just give me more production points at the start of the turn. That's what that does. So mo money is the easiest way to look at that. All right, so that's got us maxed out on research again. So purchases. All right, so units that I am short on that I need to get more of, which is pretty much everything, but specifically, I want to go ahead and I want to order 2 more river ironclads. Excuse me. All right, so that'll bring me up to a total of 5 that I've got in the pipeline right now. And then I'm going to order another cavalry division, and this one so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach him to Halleck or Grant for the push down the Mississippi. Okay, so that leaves me enough for another division. All right, so who is next? Don't know if I'm going to have enough space for this one. Oh, yes we do. Okay, so the video toaster division is now in the pipeline. Thank you very much. And that leaves us with 95 production points. We're going to bank that. That is going to do it for this episode. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. If you made it this far, leave a like. Go ahead and drop a comment. And subscribe if you have not done so already. Please help grow the channel. And go ahead and share it with somebody that you think might like this sort of content if you haven't done that already. And once again, thank you, and I will see you on the next one.